A lotus is a flower rooted in the mud that rises through and above to become a beautiful bloom. This is a podcast sharing mine and other stories of how we've done the same, choosing to rise above our circumstances to bloom. I'm your host, Amber. Let's get started. So this is my friend, Amanda. I almost called you Mandy. I've never called you
You've never called me that.
That's so weird. Usually I call you by like your full name whenever I'm talking about you, only because we know like 17 Amandas. But so this is my friend Amanda Kroepfl. We know each other. We actually know each other from WAT, because both of our husbands are in We Are the They, different groups, Group 1 and Group 2. But we were both in the Queen's Edition. And then, but we became friends through Gentle Warrior.
Mm-hmm. That first retreat, Taryn had us pick an accountability buddy. Yeah. And I decided Amber was going to be my new best friend.
Yeah.
So I grabbed you and
literally
said, you are my buddy.
It was so funny because we were sitting next to each other. And well, because there were only 1, 2, 3, 4... like 5 of us that were from the Queen's Edition. So this was our first instance of like spending an extended amount of time with each other as a group in Gentle Warrior. And I remember like most of us just kind of clung to each other. Mm-hmm. And you were sitting next to me and like literally she's like, hey, so you get to pick, and you just wrapped your arm around my arm.
And it's not like we knew of each other, but we didn't know each other.
Yeah.
Like that was the first time we had a conversation.
Yeah. Which honestly, I think I liked that even more, because I didn't have any idea or like pre-known, I don't know words right now, but like preconceived ideas of who you were or what I was getting into or what this was going to be like or anything. Although what's funny is then later I remember talking to Candace and being like, yeah, so I'm accountability buddies with Amanda Kroepfl, and we just started Marcoing. And I know her, but I don't really know who she is. And she's like, oh, she's the one that came over and burned her wedding dress, remember? And I was like, oh, that's her? I totally had a conversation and everything. I was like very fully pregnant when that happened, but I hadn't put like 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, see, I make an impact where I go. Yeah. You know that crazy lady that decided to burn her wedding dress one night?
Which is something we'll have to, if you want to, we'll talk about. Yeah,
there's nothing to hide there. It was funny. Everyone thought there was something behind it.
I know. It ended up becoming this huge thing, and it was hilarious when it came back, and you're like, it's not that big of a deal, guys. Big of a deal, guys. We're good. Just a symbolism of.
I love it.
So funny. Okay, so. If you don't mind, I'll just have you tell your story, a little bit of your background, and then get into it.
I think it would be good to start, like, just stay on the road of personal development, like how I got into it, and that's how we met, right?
Yeah.
So when I got pregnant with my first daughter, I had really bad postpartum depression, and I went to the doctor, and I asked them, or I told them what was going on, and they told me I am vitamin D deficient. They ran blood work, and I wasn't.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was the end of conversation.
No, let's explore this further.
No.
Was that here in Utah, or was that in California?
That was here in Utah.
Okay. Wow.
So that was 15 years ago. So I'm going to hope it's gotten better. Yeah. But so I dealt with it on my own. I had no outside help. I actually hid it from everyone. And then my daughter was 10 months when I got pregnant with my second daughter. And by the time I had her, I realized that the old patterns were coming back to play. And I'm like, I don't want to do this again.
Yeah.
And I went and had all my blood work done. I did everything that you should do, but it wasn't enough. And that's kind of when I entered personal development.
Okay.
And it's interesting because I was trying to reflect back on like that time, and I can't remember how this came into my universe, but there was the book called The Power of Now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I read it, and I realized that I get to choose my emotions. I can pick what path I go down. Yeah. And that kind of just opened my eyes to personal development.
Yeah.
And then from there, we can like fast forward. And my husband and I were in a real estate mastermind group. Okay. And we had a coach come in. I can't remember his name. The camp was called Iron Camp. But he helped dig up everything. He helped dig up everything and kind of went, good luck. And which was fine. It was exactly what we needed. Yeah. Just didn't know it.
Yeah.
But that made my husband go into Watt.
Okay.
So Watt.
So that was like right before Watt.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Watt came. My husband's in personal development, and anytime we're in personal development, we dig up everything.
Yep.
And from there, we entered Queens.
Yeah.
Queens, while I loved it, it was also a lot of digging up and not much integration.
Yeah.
So I knew for myself I needed more. Mm-hmm. And so I hired personal coaches. I took courses. I got all of these pieces. And then we entered Gentle Warriors together.
Yeah.
And that's kind of when I started putting everything together for myself.
All of the pieces that you'd acquired.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it was actually Taryn who pointed out that I look at the world differently than others.
Yeah.
And between Taryn, you, friends, husband, he's like, you have a gift to actually talk about taboo topics.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because I set on the idea of coaching in general for a year.
I remember because I don't remember if it was like the first or the second. It wasn't the first, but I don't remember if it was between the first or after the second retreat where you and I had a conversation and someone was like, oh, you should coach. And you were like, no.
No, never. Why me?
Yeah.
But yeah, I worked with a one-on-one coach. I worked with a sex coach. And it was interesting because once again, you get all these pieces, but I felt like it was never complete.
Yeah.
And one day I sat down and I don't know what hit me. I actually wrote out a full course, a full outline of a course of adult sex education. And I sent it to Taryn and she's like, this is really good.
Yeah.
You need to do something with it.
Yeah.
And it took me still forever, but I finally put it together and put it into action.
Yeah. And then I remember when she had you speak to group 3, was it? At their first retreat? It's hard to keep track because she's changed things with each retreat.
Second retreat. Was it their second? I don't know. It doesn't matter, I guess, in the end. But
I think it was their first because they just had their second.
Okay.
With the pictures in the water.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
It was their first. Okay.
Yeah.
I know that.
So she had you speak there, and I remember us talking on the phone, and you were building out your outline, I guess, for what you're going to talk to them about. Mm-hmm. And then it was cool because then later you did a call for our group, and it was a little bit more in depth. And I feel like did you already have the sex ed? Was that part of the outline that you created for when you spoke with group?
Yeah. 3? So I wasn't coaching then, but I did do that outline.
Yeah.
So I sat down and I'm a visual person, so I created all the slideshows so I could stay in order.
Yeah.
And it was basically an outline of how to.
Yeah.
Like I said, I always felt like I kept getting this bits and pieces of knowledge, but nobody ever tells you, okay, now do this. Once you get this done, go to this step.
Yeah.
It's not very clear. It's kind of like you push people into personal development and wish them luck.
Yeah.
While that works, it is also very painful sometimes.
Yeah.
So having someone that can guide you through it, here's the tools, and actually, okay, here's the tool, but let's apply it. Let's see how this works.
Yes. And I love, that's actually something that until you were talking about this, I didn't realize either, that I've really loved about being in Gentle Warrior, where, again, I feel like we were given so many tools and not shown how to use them. We were shown how to use them to tear things down, but not how to put things back together.
Yes.
And so with Gentle Warrior in the beginning, it was like, okay, here's this tool. And they were really great much more thorough explanations of those tools. But what I love is how Taryn has, and maybe this is also because I do one-on-one coaching with her too, how she's shown us like how each of them apply and how they actually all fit together.
Mm-hmm.
And they may seem like separate tools, but really they all go hand in hand with each other.
100%.
And yeah, like an actual game plan and explanation of like, and in this situation, you would use this tool.
And we follow up, right?
Yeah.
It's not like, okay, guys, this week we're learning this and then never come back to it. Like,
right.
Let's come back. How did this work? Where did it not work? Why?
Yes. And there's references back to it later on of like, hey, remember how we learned about this? That totally plays into or is the foundation for this next thing.
That's what's nice about this type of personal development where there is an outline. You know where you're going.
Yeah.
When you don't know where you're going, you usually stop somewhere. Or you get stuck in a cycle of just re-traumatizing yourself over something that we can move past.
So so now you are coaching and you do have clients. I like that you brought up the idea of like getting caught in this cycle of just like re-traumatizing, because the tools that you have, yes, you're going to be able to use them over and over again. It's not like a one-time use, like they're disposable. But how have you helped yourself or helped other people get out of those cycles? I mean, I guess I know it's like situational too.
Okay. So we can first understand what trauma is. Trauma is an event that happens, right? That's also, there's different types of trauma. Like we talked about generational trauma, right?
Yeah.
So once we understand what trauma is, it's such like a buzzword, right?
Yeah.
So what I like referring to it as like understanding your stories or your lessons, okay? Where do these come from? Yeah. So when we're talking about sex and relationships, we create, I mean, I've done it too. We create a look of like, what does a mother look like? What does a wife look like? What are your duties in these roles, right?
Yeah.
So these stories come from our religion. They come from our parents, our grandparents, and they come from society. So once we understand that, we can actually look at them objectively and decide, does this actually fit me? Is this my lesson? Is this what I want to adopt? Or is this a story that I've been told and does not suit me?
Yeah. Who was it? Was it Matt Townsend? Where he was saying like, no, it was Ben and I went to a breathwork retreat down in Sedona. Do you know who Zach Rader is?
I don't.
Oh my gosh. If anybody gets a chance to do breathwork with Zach Rader when he comes into town. So he's based out of Sedona, Arizona, but he comes to California, the Pacific Northwest, Utah, and Colorado fairly often, like several times a year. But he holds these 4-day retreats down in Sedona, breathwork retreats, but it has nothing to do with the breathwork. It's all about the conversations and the processes that he walks you through. So one thing that he super emphasizes is nothing is really ours. Like we have created, like you said, these roles or these stories based off of input from all these other areas. And so it's really, really great whenever we're questioning a belief or something, ask ourselves like, is this mine or was it given to me by somebody else, society, my parents, an idea that I got from a TV show of how I should be, to like really analyze where did this truly come from. So I love that you say that, because it's just really interesting if we do sit down and think about things of like, wait a minute, why do I do this? Where did this come from? Is this something that I want to do or something that truly fits who I am? But anyways, sorry.
We're good.
So yeah, helping people get out of the cycle is just understanding the story.
That, and what I view as like step 2 is understand what shadow work is. Okay. So shadow work or anything that is living in our subconscious that we do not know is there. So for example, let's say, I'll use mine for example. Let's say someone told me, stop being a brat. Okay. Now I decided that to receive love, I cannot act a certain way. So I push that aside. Now there's something about doing that with our subconscious where it leaks out. And now instead of addressing the brat, now I'm acting like a brat with my partner. And there's a way of going about it of like playing with these characters to actually diffuse the energy behind them.
Okay.
So another way to describe it, let's say you're at work. Your boss is a jerk, okay? You are mad, but you do not address it with him. Now you go home, your toddler knocks over a glass and breaks it, and you start yelling at your toddler. You're not mad at your toddler. You didn't address the original issue.
Okay.
So that is kind of how that subconscious shadow works.
Okay. It's kind of like that saying of what you resist persists.
100%.
Yeah. I do want to rewind a little bit, and because your coaching is specifically has to do, well, I mean, I feel like the byproduct of it is that it does actually cover more areas, but it's specifically focused in
Sex and relationships.
sex and relationships. What was it that took you in that direction when it came to coaching versus like just
General life coaching?
Yeah, or femininity or that kind of a thing.
It is something that culturally we all have in common. It is something that is if you want to go spiritual, that is how life is created.
Yeah.
Right? We need to have a healthy sexual relationship, whether that's with yourself, with a partner, to be able to move forward with life in general. So what I have noticed is how someone shows up in the bedroom really reflects how they show up in real life. So it's actually the reason why I like it. It's super playful.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like, if we're sitting on a call and we're talking about childhood trauma, when you hang up the call, you're kind of exhausted.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, if we're having a great conversation about how to be a better partner in the bedroom, you leave happy.
Yeah.
So from my experience, having these conversations with people actually lift them up, and that's what I enjoy. I don't think personal development has to be something where you're dragging someone through the gravel. I've had those bad experiences, and I'm like, for me, entering the coaching world, I'm like, I want to fix that.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like I'm trying to do.
Well, and I think that that's kind of along the lines of conversations that we've had of how healing and growth doesn't have to always be this like drudgery and this tears and a terrible time. It doesn't always have to be hard. Sometimes it will be.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But that I like that it's kind of goes back to the book that you read, The Power of Now, of like how you get to decide what this is.
You get to pick your emotions. I had a really good coach, Mike Kiko, and one of the lessons that he taught me that I absolutely love, that I still apply, is eat the fruit, spit the seeds. So
I like that.
yeah. So anything in like personal development, any lesson in life from someone else, absorb it, try it on.
Yeah.
If it fits, great. If not, set it aside.
Yeah. Or even take the pieces that fit you.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think for some people, so I've had some friends when it comes to coaching where they're somewhat hesitant because like with a licensed therapist, they've gone to school, right? So they have the education, they've written the papers, they've had a teacher check the box and say, yep, they've completed this task and they're ready for it. And so I've had some friends who are like hesitant to go to a coach versus a therapist, and therapists have their place. I'm
absolutely
definitely an amazing thing that we have in our society. But when it comes to coaching, just a few friends specifically, but I think that a lot of people ask like, what's their qualifications? Because there are some people who are just going through these quick life coach courses and they have to complete 100 hours. And then now I'm a life coach, but they have, I saw this, was it you that sent it to me? This reel of this like 14-year-old girl where she's like, if you guys are going through a hard time in life, just message me because I promise you I've probably been through it too and I could probably help you. I'm like, and then it was you and you're like, the comments were hilarious. I'm like, girl,
you've had 14 years of experience on this world.
And you probably don't remember the first 7. But so like when it comes to expertise, I guess that's one thing because I know you.
Yeah.
And I know that you're very qualified in the coaching that you're doing. You're doing the research, you're very invested, but I don't want this to sound snarky, but like what makes you just share a little bit more of what makes you qualified in this area.
Yeah. So I actually, when it was brought to my attention that I am actually good in this area, that I have a skill in this, I went and did all the research. Okay, I need to go back. I need to go get my degree in XYZ, this, that. And then I had a couple conversations with, I'm not even going to name names, just had a couple conversations. And then they brought to my attention, I'm like, if you become a therapist, you are now under a board. Mm-hmm. You need to practice a certain way. Mm-hmm. And their advice was don't do it.
Interesting.
So I'm also a very big believer of alternative education. Mm-hmm. I homeschool all my kids. And I know what I teach. I like, for example, somatic practices. Mm-hmm. I believe emotions are stored in the body.
Yeah.
And that is you don't get that from a therapist. Now, not every therapist. So we can't like just put all therapists in a box, okay?
Right.
But I have a gift of seeing something let's put it this way. I have a gift of seeing the subconscious. Mm-hmm. Where that came from, I do not know. But I'm confident in what I do.
When I have conversations with you, so we were accountability buddies, which meant that we talked about so much stuff and that accountability continued into our friendship. Mm-hmm. And so you're one of the first people that I talk to about all sorts of different topics. But what I love about it is that a lot of times when you're giving me advice, I guess you could say, or helping me look at the reality of a situation or look at it from a different perspective, it's something that you're speaking from experience. Mm-hmm. From my experience, this is what I went through when I had this, da-da-da-da-da. But I love the simplicity that you put to it too. That it isn't, and I guess this kind of goes back to like when you're giving somebody an outline and giving somebody the tools, that it isn't like, well, it's going to be real difficult. You're going to have to do this. Are you up for it? It's more just like, have you thought of this?
So I have 2 superpowers. One is I like taking very complicated things and making it super simple and digestible.
Yes, that's what I love about you.
And then the other one is I literally do not have shame built into my body. Mm-hmm. So if you come and have a conversation with me, I'm not looking at you differently. Like I still haven't been shocked. Yeah. Like I'm waiting to be shocked. And I've had friends come and they're like, well, XYZ. And I'm like, and? Okay, like we got this.
Yeah. Which is I feel like with some friends, I feel like when you get to a certain point of friendship, that level exists. So it's really rare to find it in somebody just from the get-go of that really is you as to your core from beginning to end of no judgment, which is so important. I think it's important in general, but I think it's important especially in the healing world because you are digging up your demons. You are pulling those skeletons out of the closet, as they say. And it's nice to have that safe place, especially in a coach, to not have them have like a biased opinion.
That, and I think actually the lack of religious knowledge I have has come into play.
Especially here in Utah.
because I have curiosity still. So I think I will always have curiosity, but for someone to share something about religious trauma, I'm like, okay, let's sit down, let's digest this together, and I'm able to bring them a different point of view
Yeah.
than what they believe is as a truth. So that's been actually really fun for me. I really enjoy like having those type of conversations.
Yeah. Well, it helps them realize that what they've thought was a truth, a solid truth their whole life, that there are other truths out there. I was talking to a friend recently who, she just had a baby. It's a mutual friend of ours. She just had a baby and was kind of struggling of like how things are done. And she's breastfeeding for the first time and had a clogged duct, and she was doing all of this research and like, how do I do this and how do I do that? And so we were talking about it, and I was like, there are going to be 750 different combinations of how to do something. Pick out the easiest ones for you and do those.
Just try them.
You don't have to do all 750. It's allowed to be simple and not be complicated. So, and I just think that that's true for so many.
It's amazing when someone will come in and turn down the dial for you. So the emotions are not so hard.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about your coaching and like the things that you cover and the direction that that's going right now.
So right now, like I originally created erotic empowerment, and that's really helping women drop back into their body.
I love that.
So as the feminine energy, we actually should be living in our body more than our mind. The masculine energy is very logical, and they both halves make a whole. So we have to have both.
Yeah.
But
both serve a purpose too. Like
Absolutely.
you're going to fall into your masculine more in some other
Absolutely.
times.
Like it serves us. It gives us structure. If you do not have structure, we are a mess.
Yeah.
We've all lived there.
Yeah.
AKA this morning.
Yeah.
So we go ahead and we break down your stories.
Okay.
Understand where they come from, how they serve us. And then I would say a lot of women come to me with lack of desire and understanding why. So in the beginning, it's important to address like the actual physical. Are your hormones okay? Obviously, I'm not a doctor. I don't do that. I refer them on.
Yeah.
From there, is there any numbness? Did you have a child? Was there tears? Let's look at things that we can handle on the physical.
Yeah.
And then from there, we break down the emotional side of it. For one, most women don't understand what they like. They've been told what they like. So this gives them an opportunity. And I have games, I have conversations we have where they actually get a safe space to discover what they want.
Without the pressure of anybody else.
Correct.
Yeah. I love that.
So I also work with couples, and I break them apart for these conversations, and then we come back together to discuss them. Yeah. Because when you're sitting there with your partner, in the back of your mind, you're still taking an account for them.
Yep.
So to give a woman the opportunity to sit down and really discuss with someone else, not just understanding what your anatomy is, how it works. And the biggest thing is like there is a group of women that were told that their bodies weren't theirs. It was created for a man.
Yep.
You need to look, cover your shoulders, etc. You need to look a certain way. And then they're married and they are told, now you are a whore for your husband, is how they take it.
Yeah.
So it completely shuts them down. Because we are not light switches.
No.
There are some of us that can turn it on and off, but the majority of women are not light switches.
Yeah.
So it's to create an internal safety. So we really address what that looks like per person.
Well, and how confusing would that be if your whole life you were taught that you're responsible for men's emotions and feelings? Like if they're turned on by something, like all of that is your responsibility. So cover your shoulders, cover your legs so that they don't get turned on by you and you don't want them to think this of you. But then all of a sudden you get married and it's like, oh, but
No,
I do have to do those things for him, but I don't know how because the whole time I've been told to shut this off. But I, like you said, a light switch, but I have to turn it on for my husband and it has to be when he's ready on his timing. Like that would just be like whiplash.
It is.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work.
No.
It doesn't work at all. And it's not just like a religious culture. It is, it's society in general. So we live in Utah, right? So we have the religious overtone of all this.
Yeah.
But you can go anywhere in the world and this happens.
Yeah.
So we are responsible, right? We are responsible for how people view us. Mm-hmm. And the reality is that doesn't serve us.
No. I just think it's interesting and I love it so much that we're starting to look into, like you said, being in our own body, acquainting ourselves with who we really are. And it's not like this midlife crisis of who am I?
No.
What do I really like? But I saw something today where it actually said on that topic, is it a midlife crisis or are you finally tuning everybody out and realizing what you actually like and rediscovering yourself? And I think that's what it is like we're just figuring out who we really are without society's input.
Absolutely. And the female body was built for pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
And that word, like I work in this and I still feel the shame of saying that out loud.
Yeah. Which is so wild. Well, and what's crazy is like even pleasure aside, like our bodies, the human body in general is amazing, but the female body, what it's capable of blows my mind. And it's so beautiful that we get to discover what we're truly capable of on multiple levels. But okay, so you go into just talking more about your course.
Yep.
So you work on the physical and then dig into the emotional.
And then we look at what, like I said, internal and external safety, what that is for you and what you need. From there, it's learning to have conversations, learning to have the hard conversations.
Yeah.
Not just with a partner, but with yourself.
Ooh.
Because like if you believe in the somatic practices, like our emotions are stored with our body, there's a way to have communication with our body to see what lights us up and what doesn't. It's learning to be the observer, actually.
Okay.
And then from there, it's identifying boundaries. Not just like the general overview of boundaries, but like how are we going to hold our boundaries? What do our boundaries mean for us? And also understanding other people's boundaries. So once again, having these hard conversations.
Going back on boundaries, there was something that you said I wanted to go into a little bit of like with your partner of what was it that you said? How did you say it? Don't yuck someone else's yum.
Yes.
So can you just kind of explain that in the conversations a little bit around that?
So when you're having these, what we'll classify as taboo conversations, sometimes your partner will bring things to the table that make you really uncomfortable. And it is a skill to sit there and hold space for them. So yes, the statement is don't yuck someone else's yum. Because as soon as you start going, ew, that's disgusting, well, now they're shutting down.
And then there's shame around that.
And there's shame. And like the root of everything that we're trying to do is dissolving shame. How can we remove shame from the conversation so we can continue the conversation?
Right. And building, again, that comfortable area, that space with your partner. I love too that you said what you said about holding space. And I think I've talked about this in the past, but I think that there's a little bit of people have an idea of what holding space really is, what they think it is and what it actually is. And tell me if you agree with this, but to me, holding space, I think that a lot of people today think like, oh, I'm holding space, I'm just listening to you. I'm here as a sounding board for you. And I feel like that's part of it. But to truly hold space is to be neutral, to not feel like you need to sway that person one way or another, to not be taking it personally, depending on what the topic is, and interjecting your opinions and ideas into that.
I agree. Yeah. And I also think I'm going to generalize it as women.
Yeah.
Women need to vent.
Yes.
Sometimes men need to vent.
Yeah.
But to understand with a person and actually ask you, Amber, do you want to vent? Or do you want suggestions? Do you want me to help you look at this? Et cetera.
Yeah.
So there's a difference of holding space in those two conversations too.
That's true. Yeah.
So for example, women can cry. What happens when you cry?
I feel better.
You feel better.
Yeah.
So we have learned to release that energy by fully getting in the closet, whatever, or the bathroom and crying that my toddler's driving me nuts, taking a deep breath and walking out the room, right? Yeah. That is a skill. Mm-hmm. And then other people suppress emotions, right? Mm-hmm. So to understand that and who you are working with, because there might be a time that I need to hold space, but also pull a thread for them so they know how to complete the loop.
Ooh, I love that. So then the probing question, or not the probing questions. I hate that word probing. It just
poking.
Yes. But the asking questions, leading questions. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes too, when you're the outside person, it's really easy for us to see the full picture for the person who's in the middle of it. And I had someone tell me sometimes when you're helping somebody process something, it's so obvious to you and you just want to hand them the answer of well, what you should do is A, B, and C. But if you want them to really cement in the lesson of this process, you need to ask leading questions to help them come to that conclusion on their own.
Well, think of it. If this is the problem and it's right here, I can't see it all.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
So while let me break it down again. There's two types of people. One that we need to lead them for them to understand. Mm-hmm. There's other people that are actually no, can you just tell me what I can't see? Mm. So as long as you have the skill to tell them what they can't see and them to have enough trust in you, because that's the big thing. If they don't have trust in you, I could tell you, Amber, your shirt's gray. You're like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
Or your shirt's beige. No, it's not.
Yeah.
But if you trust me, you're like, oh, it's, you said it's pink. It's pink, right?
Yeah.
But you have to have that rapport with someone.
Yeah, that's true. So kind of rewinding a little bit, the other thing that I really liked when it came to the whole don't yuck someone's yum and bringing new ideas and getting comfortable exploring new things, I really liked the light system that you had. If you want to, okay. I hope I'm not sharing.
No,
I don't want to be
share all you want. We're good. No, I did not
everybody you're coaching.
I did not create the red light, green light. Pretty sure that someone else created that. So actually, okay. So red light, green light, yellow light was actually introduced to me by another coach. And so what that is understanding, it's a way to practice boundaries.
Yeah.
Okay. So I introduced this as an exercise of creating comfort with your partner. So there's a couple different ways you can do it.
Okay.
The fun one that I like is introducing different sensations. So let's say a feather, something spiky like a fork. You get the idea, right?
Right.
And you can go ahead and touch the other person's body and they can go, well, you can play stop and go.
Yeah.
Right. Or you can go red light, which means stop. Okay. So when we're talking about boundaries and some people can't vocalize them, stop means red light, stop. We're not going any farther.
Yep. And don't try to push it.
Don't try to push it.
Yeah.
So hard no boundary. Yellow light is, hey, I'm getting uncomfortable, pull back, and we'll leave it there. So yellow light. Green light, you don't ever say. Yeah. So my husband and I actually use red light, green light in arguments. Ooh. So I have a trauma response where I freeze. So if anything gets escalated, my mind just floats. I am gone.
Yeah.
But I know enough where I can feel it coming on, and I just say yellow light, and that gives me the excuse to walk out of the room, calm down, and then come back.
Yeah.
So while that tool is fun to play as a game in the bedroom, it's also a tool to use in everyday life.
I love that. I never thought of that, of using it in conversations as well.
Yeah, if someone's coming at you, if you're having a heated argument with your husband and he starts, let's say, raises his voice at you, and you're like, that's a boundary.
Yeah.
Red light. Yeah. Stop.
Yeah.
And that should be enough to cue him to then come back down.
Well, and what's great about that is that instead of the reaction being you freezing, or let's say the other reaction of then your voices are escalating and you're screaming at each other, it's a simple like one word cue that brings you back into the moment a little bit. The like presence of mind to be like, okay, let's breathe for a second, which I love.
Yeah, because if cool. You're escalated on anything, you're not having a sound conversation. We're not solving anything here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I like it too. I think one time when we were talking about the red light, green light was if you're wanting to try new things and you're just having a conversation about it, that you could use like the red light, green light, yellow light, of like yellow light being, I don't know, maybe we could try it and see how we feel about it. And that some of those might change down the road. Like once you're more comfortable with certain things, or you try it and it becomes it was a green light before and it's a red light now.
So I also do a game with my couples. It's yes, no, no for now.
Okay, yeah.
So it's listing, I ask them to go and write down 10 fantasies. So they each come to the table with 10 fantasies. And there's no conversation about them. It's yes, no, no for now.
Yeah.
Yes, great. Go ahead and have fun. No, we do not bring this back to the table. This is a no.
Yeah.
No for now instead of maybe is because when you tell a certain person no, when you tell a certain person maybe, they feel like they need to prod it a little bit more, which you can.
Yeah.
But no for now just means like, hey, today that doesn't feel good. Let's address it at a later time.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Sense. So that is a game that I like to play with them, and it just opens the conversation because it's funny when you sit down with them and they both come up with the same yeses, and then they both kind of look at each other like, oh, okay, like they didn't know.
Yeah.
Because then nobody told them it's okay to have this conversation. They found it so taboo, and until you kind of bring this to the table for them, they don't do it on their own.
Yeah. Well, I just remember like in my experience as far as relationships go, and even just the idea of talking out things that you liked was so foreign to me until I had a relationship where it was like, this is just what we talk about. Like, how else am I going to know what you like and don't like?
Yeah.
And now that's become the norm for me.
It's like walking into this room with the lights off and a blindfold, and like, how long is it going to take you to find my water? Like, you're going to keep going and stumbling, or we could turn on the lights, have a conversation, and walk straight to the water. Like, it's not that. If we look at it, it's not that difficult, but. Yeah. Because we have these imprints in our body that this is such a taboo conversation, we just don't do it.
Yeah. So actually, that reminds me. So one thing, maybe I'm jumping back and forth all over the place, but that's my brain. You and I had a conversation that I really, really loved because you were talking about imprints in the body. We've talked about generational trauma, and I wanted to kind of bring that topic up.
Okay.
Because that is something that you're working with clients on, of the generational trauma and how, especially specifically with women, but I'm sure with men as well, of how we've kind of been programmed a little bit. We kind of touched on it, but I wanted to talk about it a little bit more.
Yeah. Let's understand what generational trauma is first.
Yes.
Okay. Generational trauma is something that has been passed down. So trauma is that incident. Okay. What's an incident we can use as an example?
Of generational?
Okay, I got one for you.
Okay.
The witch, the archetype, the witch, being
Yes.
stoned in town square because she is practicing something that is not allowed by the church. Let's say that, right?
Okay.
So women in general, we can go back hundreds of years, right?
Yeah.
Women in general are now taught, don't look a certain way, don't act a certain way, or you will be killed.
Yep.
Okay? So that's pretty dramatic.
Yeah.
Now that softens over the years. We teach our daughters not to do this, not to look a certain way, not to speak up. Now we come to the present time, and we still have that in us where we need to look a certain way and speak a certain way. Obviously, we're not going to get killed, but that imprint is still in us.
Yeah. What was the because when you and I were talking about this the other day, there was a study done on lab rats.
Okay. So the lab rats, what happened was these rats were sprayed, I think it was like rose, or it was a scent, okay? And every time they were sprayed this rose smell, their feet were zapped,
Okay.
okay? And now they told their children, and whatever, okay, these are rats, right? They didn't talk.
Squeak,
but
squeak, squeak, squeak.
they passed that information. So when their grandchildren were sprayed the smell, they also ran to the corner and in fear of getting shocked. But they were never shocked.
Yeah.
So
They just knew that this smell means we go to this corner.
correct. So we can look at it as they were taught a lesson from that trauma that their grandparents
Yeah.
actually had.
Yeah.
So same with us.
Yeah.
Like we learned, general, we say trauma, right? We actually don't have the trauma. We have the lesson from the trauma.
Okay. That makes sense. And then we had kind of talked about like how, I guess that kind of goes back to what we were saying about like the conditioning that we've created for ourselves of expectations around the role that we should play, the type of wife that we should be, the way that we should be in the bedroom, the way that we should be in society. And I guess we already did kind of talk about this.
I can, like another layer to it, I can break it down to me, my first pregnancy. I had a really hard baby. And I thought motherhood looked a certain way.
Yeah.
You didn't, for whatever reason, I believe we didn't need help. We had this on our own.
Yep.
And it crippled me by trying to live in a character that I developed. No one else. I developed this from my childhood.
Yeah.
And it wasn't what I needed at the time. Like I needed help. I needed this. But because I saw motherhood as, nope, you got everything.
Yeah.
Like, you do this on your
Moms
own.
are the superheroes that do
and
all
it
the things.
put me into depression.
Ugh. Well, it's like, it makes me think of, do you remember as a kid those shapes that you like hammer,
Oh, yeah.
the pegs that you hammer into the certain shapes? It's like trying to hammer the wrong size shape into,
Square peg, round hole.
yeah,
It's not
exactly.
working anytime
No,
soon.
and you're just making it difficult. You're ruining the whole thing.
Right? And we do that as being a wife. A wife looks a certain way. When you're raised to like a wife does X, Y, Z, okay. And then your husband's like, well, I want ABC. And you're like, fuck, I'm doing everything right.
Yeah.
Like I was told to act this way, look this way, and you don't like me? Like that, then people start questioning their worth.
Well, then I think that's the big part now is that, because this is something that even Ben and I have had to work through of, he and I, to some degree, have had the same definition of what my role is and what his role is, and have realized, like, I think that it should be this way, and he also thinks that it should be this way. So then it must have to be that way. But then we realize through practice that that doesn't actually work for us. So then it comes down to having the conversation of not just one side saying, hey, I had this idea and it's actually not working for me, so we need to figure something else out. But then the other person saying, well, but I thought that that's the way that it should be too. What do you mean it's not working out? And there's layers to that of then, okay, well, maybe it's me. Maybe it should work this way. I'll try again. I'll try harder. And so kind of just coming to terms of like both of you realizing it doesn't work and we get to define it. And again, taking away that shame and that preconceived idea of society of like that it has to be this way. And whatever that applies to, whether it's every day the house should look like this, or again, like our sex life should look like this, that like sometimes that's just not realistic. Sometimes that's just not the way that it is.
Well, I had someone ask me once, like, well, how many times should I be having sex a week? I'm like, why are you asking me that? Like, what do you think? That is a personal preference. Like, but because they lived in a certain way and they're just looking for like someone to tell them what to do. So I fit into a mold that I should be in.
Tell me what means I'm healthy and what means I'm not.
Correct. And like, there's no right or wrong.
Yeah.
It is what is going to work for you long term.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of people who have sex every single day and their relationship isn't healthy.
Oh yeah. So something that I like to break down, we talk about intimacy and sex as two different topics.
I love that.
Because we can have intimacy. We can have an intimate conversation. Okay. Has nothing to do with sex.
Yep.
I was going to say we could have sex and that could be it. It's not.
I'm okay.
But people find intimacy through sex. So a man...
And the fact that they call it being intimate.
Correct. Because I can't even say certain things on Instagram that I want to say because I get banned.
Yep.
Because there is that overlord seeing everything. I don't even know what to call it.
The Instagram overlords.
But men, sometimes they need physical connection to feel intimate.
You did a post on this one time and I loved it. Continue.
Okay. So a man sometimes will need to feel the physical to create intimacy. Okay. While a woman needs the emotional intimacy to feel physical. So it has to be a give on both sides.
Yes.
You have to come to the table with a give and take.
For it to be like a successful
Correct.
interaction of sorts. Well, and I saw this thing recently where it was like, this kind of applies, but you'll see how I tied it. Where it was two couples and it was like at the end of the day, we're both touched out and need to unwind. And so we're reading a book, scrolling on our phones, and they changed it to where instead of them both, they're sitting in the same room doing whatever, zoning out. Instead, they're touching. So whether it's holding hands, whether it's like leaning on each other, wife's head on the husband's shoulder, that there's that touch factor to it. And so I think like even in conversation sometimes just holding hands, how much that can shift things of like we're connected.
So what you would call that is non-sexual touch. Okay. And being touched out is a huge topic that we can talk about. But the non-sexual touch, it means that I can touch my partner without him having the expectation of having an erection. Same thing for him. He's allowed to come and give me a hug without me having the expectation of I have to put out, let's say.
Yeah.
So that actually, once we can develop non-sexual touch in our relationship, it actually relaxes us.
Yeah.
It actually creates safety in the relationship.
I think that that's huge because I think especially being a stay-at-home mom, just speaking for myself, at the end of the day, if Ben wants to cuddle, there are some days where I'm so touched out, and in my mind, it like triggers this thing of like, okay, here's what he really wants. And if I am so touched out, I don't even want to cuddle, then I definitely don't want to do more. Whereas if you're building that safety of, no, I'm just here to support you, makes other things a lot more possible.
And if you are like fully touched out, if you can explain that to your partner and if they can understand that, like how nourishing would it be if they grabbed a blanket and wrapped it around you and just said, here you go, here's a cup of tea, relax.
Yeah.
That will just diffuse so much energy and that will maybe allow sexual intercourse at the end of the night, maybe not, but it is supporting you.
Yes. It's a way of being held without actually
correct. Because held. I've dealt with being touched out with depression, and it literally for me, like my kids touching me could have been like razor blades.
Yeah,
you're just so stimulated, whereas you're like, I need a break.
Yeah,
And so if you can communicate that with your partner, and maybe it's going for a 15-minute walk alone. Maybe it is doom scrolling, right? For 15 minutes. And your partner be like, got the kids. Let's shut the door. Mom needs a break.
Yeah.
Right? Like how nice would it be if we knew and had these tools before even having the kids?
Yeah.
Having these discussions, because we just don't talk about these things.
No. Well, and I think that like relationships over time, there's the layer of a relationship that you've had for a long time. And then there's the layer of a relationship that you've had for a long time with kids.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. It's different.
I started dating my husband, Brad, when we were 16. Well, I was 16. He was 17.
Yeah.
And I forget when we got married. When we were 25. And then I'm 39 now.
Yeah.
We have lived in he saw me get my first car. So speaking from experience, we are not the same people. We have lived many lives in between, right? Who I was prior to kids, who I was even like 10 years ago is not who I am today.
Yeah. And so like learning all of those phases of each other too. I feel kind of bad because I like interrupted a little bit about talking about your coaching, what all you're covering. And with your coaching course, I love all the topics that you're covering because it's not just kind of rewinding to what you said of it's not just like how to be a good wife, how to be a good partner, how to be good in bed, how to have a great sex life. It's like, let's figure out who you are first.
Yes.
And get down to the core of that.
There was no question there, Amber.
I know.
No, I really just want people to understand who they are at a core.
Yeah.
And to have a successful relationship. So I've noticed before starting this, we were learning a lot of lessons in other groups and stuff of how to be what felt like how to be a good wife,
Yes.
which really bothered me.
Me too.
But it was so surface level. And I remember questioning it. And they're like, we can't talk about that here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So anytime you tell me to go left, I am going to go right.
Yeah. Like, why don't you want me to go right?
We have a personal experience. Amber says, don't press the red button. We're going to press the red button.
This was a real life thing. She wanted to push the red button at a hot tub. And I was like, don't do it. We're going to get kicked out. And I feel like that just gave you even more motivation of like, now we have to push the red button.
I didn't push the red button.
She made someone else
had
do
someone
it.
else press the red button so I could watch.
Nothing happened.
Nothing at all. But no, like I realized as soon as I realized like there was a topic that was taboo, and I'm like, but why? And then digging a little deeper, and I realized like it is at the foundation of relationships. Literally, you can have a great, let's say, great communication. Your kids are A+ students, but if you are not connecting intimately, your foundation is sand. Like it is going to fall apart at some point.
Yeah.
So for me and this type of coaching, it's really creating a solid foundation.
Well, and it almost makes it to where if you're not having that connection, so the difference between communication and connection, if you're not having that connection, how great really is your communication?
It's not.
Exactly.
It's fake.
Yeah. And I think that like if your connection is shitty, then your communication is probably on the level of, here's what we're doing today. Oh, and by the way, I scheduled this appointment and this is being delivered. Like it's a play out of what's going on real time. It's not a play out of, hey, yesterday when you said this thing, you had this tone and I created this story around it. Is that true? You know, it's not having those conversations that could be touchy.
You know what it reminds me of? Do you remember the Truman Show?
Yes.
Where he's like, I'm going crazy. And everyone's like, what are you talking about? Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine living that life? Like, that's what it reminds me of. It's like, I'm doing all the things. Like, everyone looks all perfect. And then there's one person in the relationship going, am I crazy? I don't feel what everyone else is portraying.
Yeah. Or saying like, I'm not feeling this. This isn't working for me. And the other person saying, well, what do you mean it's working for me?
This is great.
Yeah.
I'm doing everything perfect.
Yeah.
That is hard. That is really hard for people because they actually do live that. Because the one partner is checking all the boxes that they believe need to be checked, and the other one is asking for a deeper connection.
What do you do? And I don't know if you've had a client like this yet, but what do you do where the one client is like, I can see clearly something needs to happen, and the other one is saying, no, things are perfect?
Honestly, I did have this client, and I love that they came back. My advice was to be more playful with them. Okay. So it was a man that came to me and it's like, I want to understand her more. I want more. And she, without knowing her, it sounded like she was living the box, right?
Yep.
And I'm all, be playful with her. Create safety.
Yeah.
And I'm all, take the work out of it. So that's another thing when, for example, men in personal development, they love checking boxes, right? Yeah. And they say men will go first, women will go faster. So with him and him saying like, I'm trying to pull her along. It's like, no. You can never pull your partner along in personal development. But you can create a safe space where they feel open to working on things.
Well, and that goes into meeting them where they are.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Instead of trying to pull or push them into an area.
But if you can be playful with someone and just, it drops walls.
Yeah, 100%.
It's how we make friends. Be friendly, make jokes, like talk about things that you shouldn't talk about. Like it just dissolves and I guess it's being vulnerable.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So acting childish per se is a form of being vulnerable.
Well, and I think too, again, going back into, because like when you're in a new relationship, it is all playful. It is all joking and tickling and telling jokes and the sarcasm and everything. And so I think when it comes to a relationship where you're sometimes just going, I don't want to say like just going through the motions, but you've got things to do, you're doing the things, you both got stuff you're getting done, and you only have so much time to fill each other in for the day and blah, blah, blah. Like you are kind of just going through the movements. And so when you bring back that playfulness, it kind of brings you back to like where things started.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I love that. That's a good idea. Pause.
I can say, okay. There's another part of the playfulness. So if someone is always playful, now they're not taking things serious, right?
Yeah.
So we need to create the balance of this.
Yeah.
So I will be playful. I will have fun. That's my job as the feminine per se, is to create that flow. But I also will respect the masculine energy and understand like, oh, okay, this is more structure. We need to discuss these other topics.
Yeah. So like, okay, in that situation, let's flip the coin a little bit where let's say there's a situation where the wife or the husband, whatever, where one partner is always playful and wants the other partner to be playful with them. What would be a suggestion that you would give in that sense of opening that door, or like easing them into the playfulness?
Okay, so if one partner is always playful, that means the other person is carrying the weight. Right?
Yeah.
So if we're talking about a relationship as a whole, we can look at, okay, well, how can we distribute the weight? Just like, okay, we have the kids, we're raising the kids per se. Husband goes to work in a whatever this scenario is, right?
Yeah.
So he's carrying this weight, you're carrying this weight, we come together to carry it together. If you are always playing and not taking anything serious, now the other partner is carrying all the weight. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So how are we going to equal it? Well, the playful partner needs to understand where the other partner's at. And the serious partner also needs to know he can relax or she can relax and come back.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So it's just creating safety with each other.
Yeah. In each other's areas.
Yes.
Because like, for instance, when I asked the question, I wasn't thinking of this, but then I realized, wait, that kind of applies to Ben and me, where he does tend to be the more serious one out of the two of us. And I tend to be the more playful one out of the two of us. So I could see like finding each other's happy medium to make the other one feel more safe in tipping the scales the other direction.
And he fell in love with you because you were playful.
Yeah.
I mean, there was other qualities too.
Yeah.
But so you don't want to let go of that playful energy, but you need to know when it's appropriate.
Yeah.
So if he's trying to have a discussion about finances, it's probably not the best time to poke the bear and have fun.
Yeah.
Like we can sit and have a conversation about what they need. Right. So we're once again talking about each other's needs.
Okay. I love that. Do you ever coach just men, or does it tend to be mainly women?
It's mainly women and couples, but with the couples, I have been coaching just the one-off, the male aspect of it.
Yeah.
It's a different conversation between men and women. Women, obviously, I'm a little bit more natural.
Yeah.
I tend to, with men, be a little bit more upfront.
Okay.
So that has been a practice for me.
Yeah.
Because I do like leading. I like letting people like discover their own way, but they need a little bit more directions, it seems. So I'm actually acquiring that skill.
Because you're really great at letting people come to their own conclusions.
Yes.
Yeah. How does that translate though? Because obviously with women, we can speak from experience of like, I don't know, just emotionally how we process things and da-da-da-da. And I think with men, we can have a general idea, but how do you relate to them?
So to relate to, actually, I don't want to relate to them. Maybe I don't think there's actually a better word there for it.
Yeah.
Because what I'm doing is I need to balance their energy.
Right. Yeah.
So while I can come in more as a nurturing aspect and have the conversations, or if they wanted to have the bro talk, they wouldn't be coming to me.
True. Yeah.
So when they come to me, it's to get the feminine's opinion and also being held by that feminine energy.
That they probably put less fear of judgment in because it's an outside source.
I would hope so.
Yeah. That makes sense.
It is interesting, though, having now these different conversations with different types of humans.
Yeah.
Where it is a practice to meet them where they're at. And when you have multiple calls a day, I'm meeting multiple people where they're at. So learning to set down, like I actually have a practice of I like mentally close a book.
Yeah.
So I'm not taking any of that energy to the next call.
Yeah. So that requires like putting some space in between the calls that it's not back to back.
Correct.
What does, as far as like coaching with you goes, what does that look like as far as, is it just like, hey, can I hop on a one-time call, or is it a year-long thing, or?
So I have a program. It's 8 weeks, and that is a structured outline program. I also do one-on-one, and I usually ask for 3 to 6 months for that. If someone wanted, I've done it, or if someone just wanted to have a conversation, just one-off.
Yeah.
One-offs, it's very surface level, I'll be honest.
Yeah. Because you can only go so deep.
Right? If you have a problem, or if we have like prior experience together, we can probably get through something.
Yeah.
But the one-off calls, you are not going to get the depth that you are looking for.
Yeah. Yeah. Mentally rewinding the conversation.
Glad you are. I'm not.
It's gone. I'll think of it on my drive home. Sorry, I'm usually a lot more.
I'm good here. We're good.
With, I don't know where to go with this now.
Okay, well, we covered the coaching, personal development, covered generational trauma. Is there any other questions that you have?
My brain keeps trying to focus on the one. that I had of the conversations. Let's see. With the timeline.
Underlying topics were masculine, feminine, sex, intimacy, communication.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to ask the question that I ask everybody, and then we'll close it out.
You're supposed to tell me those so I can prepare.
Oh, sorry. No, I like this one. I like when people do it on the phone. So one question that I like to ask everybody, considering everything that you've been through, your experience that brought you through to where you are in life and wanting to be a coach in this area, is there anything that's helped you through times that you would like to share with somebody else? So just like some helpful advice, whether it's somebody that's coming to you or just somebody that's going through it.
The first thing that comes to my mind, which is kind of making me laugh, it's a mantra that I used to get through ayahuasca. The only way out is through.
Yeah.
So the only way out is through. That means you cannot bottle things up and push them aside and think they're going to go away. Mm-hmm. They don't.
Yeah.
So you can be proactive and handle them as they come up, or you can deal with the repercussions of them coming up at the world's worst time.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to that. What we resist persists.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's funny whenever I think of when you were like, you cannot ignore them. It makes me think of when I was 18, you know how you start getting offered all these credit cards and they're like, you qualify. And I believed them. I was like, they've checked, I qualify. And so then I got the credit cards and then I used the credit cards and then I wasn't really paying their credit cards back on time on a schedule because I didn't know that there was like supposed to be a schedule. I just thought I just paid it back when I could. And so I had a lot of debt and I thought if I ignore them enough, they'll get the idea. Like I was trying to ghost my debt. And eventually then it just becomes this huge, huge stressor where I felt like I was drowning in all of this debt and I didn't know, I couldn't keep track of it. I didn't know, how much to pay to who and when to pay and which one I had paid and all of this stuff. And eventually it came down to where I had to go to my bank and I promise this ties in. I had to go to my bank and I talked to a financial advisor and they broke it down for me. And it was just like so simple. And they connected me with the right people to help me break down all of the payments and and I got it all paid off. And in the long run, I mean, this thing that I had been avoiding for probably, I don't know, how old was I? I was 26 by the time I paid off all of my debt. So 8 years, I guess, that I had been avoiding and going through all of this struggle and stress and fear of judgment and actual judgment from people of where I was financially. Then it was just like this simple thing. And I paid it all off in like a year and a half and boom, like huge weight off of my shoulders. But that's just what it makes me think of, is just like sometimes in our naiveness of what the world has taught us or society has taught us, we think that if we do a certain thing, it's going to be handled, or that's not something we talk about, but I have strong feelings about it. So, but what if I hurt this person's feelings, or society says I should be doing this and I shouldn't. And really it's like, if we're just facing it, it's a lot simpler than we thought it would be.
The pain and agony of putting things to the side is so much worse than actually dealing with the real issue.
Mm-hmm. And especially when it comes to your relationship, because like we're not going into these relationships thinking, I want this to fail. Mm-hmm. I want this to be as tumultuous as possible. And then I want it to end.
Yeah.
And have unresolved feelings about it. We go into it with the most hope and love of success, like wanting it to succeed. And sometimes that's going to be tough, but like, I love how you said that. The only way. Wait, how did you say it? I love it. What was it?
The only way out is through.
The only way out is through. So have the conversations.
Absolutely.
And if you're worried about the conversations, just call Amanda.
I will hold a safe space and we will talk about some fun stuff, I promise.
It is fun. All right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here and going through all of this with me.
Anytime.
Talking about it all. Hey, thanks for listening to this episode. If you liked what you heard, please remember to subscribe and go leave a review on Apple Podcast. It helps me know what you want to hear and who I should have as a guest next. Thanks again, and until next time, keep living the life of a lotus.